Hi guys. Do you get confused in making a decision when you are investing into real estate? Like, should you go for an apartment or townhouse, or should you go for a house on a bigger block of land? And if you want to make an informed decision based on true knowledge about the pros and cons of both these options, and if you are interested in knowing my thoughts, keep watching. Hi guys, this is John from Admire Property Group and welcome back to another episode on my channel. On this channel, I talk about financial literacy, financial independence, real estate and passive income. And in today's video, we will discuss about the pros and cons of making an investment in a house versus making an investment in a town house or apartment. And if you are new to this channel, make sure you click on subscribe and like button so that I can get motivation and can make more of these type of videos to give you more information and knowledge. So let's start with the pros and cons for an investment on a house. The first benefit of investing in a house is higher capital growth. When you invest your money on a house, on a block of land, it means you are investing a major portion of your money on an appreciating asset, which is land. And if you see the history, the value of the land increases with time. But the caveat to this is like make sure you are investing in a good location with strong data factors. So in this case, the value of your investment is tied with a bigger portion of land you occupy. On the other side, if you invest your money on apartment or unit, major portion of your investment is tied with the construction part, which depreciates with the time, and you will be getting a very small portion of the land in that investment. Another factor is scarcity. Land is becoming scarce and valuable over time. If you take an example, I'm in Melbourne, so like 10 or 15 years before, it was easy to find a big block of land in the areas closer to the city. But nowadays, everyone is going further away from the cities, whether it's north or west. They are buying smaller block of land at higher price. So the value of the land is increasing every time. And if you are looking over to build your wealth gradually over time, investing on a land acquisition is a recommended strategy because it appreciates with time rather than unlike the physical structures. So I'll take you on a chart on my screen, which I got from CoreLogic, and that shows the difference between the median house prices and the unit prices since COVID. If you look at this chart, it's showing the difference is increasing since like 2020 and showing the difference in the January 2024 as well. So if you see the, for example, Sydney, the difference was 32.9% and it has increased to 68.4% in 2024. So with all the cities, this difference is increasing. Only Darwin is the only city where you can see a drop in the difference. And there's another graph on the screen now which shows the difference is increasing every year. If you see, the dark blue line is the median house values and the gray line is the median unit values. If you see this chart from like since 2000 and up to 2024, the difference between the median unit value and the median house value is increasing every year. In the last 3 or 4 years, the difference has gone bigger. Other benefit of investing in a house is subdivision and renovation potential. So when you're investing in a house and you have got a big block of land on the back side, you can build a new granny flat and can put it on for rent and get an extra rental income, or you can make changes in the existing structure. So when you are investing in house, like you are the king of the house, you can make major structural changes, can do the expansion or can do some cosmetic changes which are generally restricted in an apartment or a townhouse if you invest in them. So I'll give you an example of one of our clients. Like he invested in a house, it was a corner block and it had a big backyard. So what he's doing now, he's planning to put a new granny flat there and give it a separate entrance so that that can be treated as a second rental income for him. So in this way, he's increasing his rental income, which basically will increase his rental yield. So investing in a house comes with a greater control and you can make more modifications to add more value to your asset. The next benefit of investing in a house is there is no body corporate or strata charges related to the house. When you invest in a house, there are no fees like body corporate, no strata charges, no owner corporation. So you have got a standalone house. Whereas on the other side, if you are investing in an apartment or unit, there will be some common areas. So there will be owner corporation involved where you will have to pay them the money to keep maintaining all those common areas. And when you have good common areas with other people, there are more chances of having some conflict of interest with the neighbors regarding the parkings or any common area in the garden. Houses most of the time offer a stable and consistent rental income, and there is less volatility in the rental income from the houses. But on the other side, if you are investing in an apartment, and especially in a high-rise building where there are more than 200 apartments, and you have got like 15 to 20 apartments on lease in the same time in the same building, so there is like high volatility of the rental income. You may initially get a good rental income from the apartments, but because of this volatility, it fluctuates a lot. And in the apartments, there is always a chances of having a supply greater than demand. For example, the council can give a permission and can change the zoning so that another building can be built in the same area and with 200 or 400 more apartments. So this will increase the supply of the apartments, which will reduce the demand, and with the reduction of the demand, the rental income will reduce, as well as the capital value of the asset also reduces. Another benefit is there are less restrictions on the finance if you are investing in a house as compared to the apartment, because most of the times bank asks for like 30 or 40% deposit if you are investing in one or two room unit or a studio apartment in a high rise building. Whereas if you are investing in a house, they ask for max 20%, or sometimes you can get away with 15% or 12% deposit and can get your loan approved. Now, coming to the disadvantage of investing in a house, the first one is lower rental income. Most of the times, houses come with the lower rental income as compared to the apartments in the area, because tenants don't like to pay for the extra backyard you have got in the house or the front yard you have got in the house, whereas in the apartment they are using all the areas available in the apartment. And the second is higher maintenance cost. Usually the houses are with the higher maintenance cost because you need to pay more for maintaining the outer areas or the backyard. So most of the times investors keep $1,000 to $2,000 away on annual basis for the maintenance of the house, which is a lot higher as compared to maintaining the apartments. And the next disadvantage of investing in a house is higher entry cost. You need to pay higher amounts initially to invest in a house. If you consider paying only 12%, 15% deposit for buying a house rather than paying 30, 40% deposit for buying an apartment, so that can balance it out. The initial purchase price for house is a lot higher than buying an apartment, because the average house price in Australia is significantly higher than the average price of a unit. So you need a larger amount of money to enter into the housing market. So there are some disadvantages of investing in a house, but if you consider the advantages of investing in a house, which are a lot higher or a lot more than the disadvantages, when especially you are considering the wealth creation gradually over the time. Now let us start the pros and cons of investing in a townhouse or apartment. The first one is lower entry cost. When you want to invest in an apartment, you need less deposit because the price of the apartment is a lot lower than the price of a house, making them easily accessible by the investors. The second one is maintenance cost or the upkeep cost. In case of the apartments, all the costs related to the maintenance get distributed among the owners over the time, and economies of scale plays a big role, which keeps less stress on your pocket, especially in the maintenance and upkeep of the property. The other benefit is potential for multiple assets. Because the average price of a unit is far less than the average price of a house, so an investor can invest in multiple units at the same time as compared to investing his or her money into the house. So this gives you a chance to diversify your portfolio, but it depends. You need to consider the capital growth of the apartments versus the capital growth of the houses. Most of the times, the capital growth in case of units and apartments is a lot lower than the capital growth which you can achieve in houses. But for getting a higher capital growth in case of apartment, it should be unique. Imagine you have got 200 different apartments in one building, they're all same. So there are less chances of having higher capital growth in that area. Right? Especially when council changes the zone and they give building permit for another one big building, high-rise building. So it increases the supply suddenly, which reduces the value of the apartments in that area. The other benefit of apartments is the rental demand is higher. Because the rent for an apartment is lower as compared to the rent of a house, it attracts more tenants, so it increases the demand of the apartment, in the rental market, and it makes it affordable for the tenants to go for the apartments. And especially in the times of low consumer confidence, high inflation rate, people like to go for cheaper options, so they prefer renting an apartment as compared to renting a bigger house. Now let us discuss some of the cons of investment in an apartment. The first one is capital appreciation. The capital appreciation in case of the townhouses or apartments is low because a lot of units and apartments available in the same building. But if you are investing in a townhouse where there are 6 or 7, then this is a different scenario. But in most of the times, the capital growth in case of houses is a lot higher than the capital growth in case of units and apartments. And the next disadvantage is restrictions on the renovation. In an apartment, you are restricted by the body corporate. If you want to make any changes or want to do any modification, you need to get permission from the body corporate, and in most of the times you won't be allowed to make any changes in the outer area of your unit. And the next disadvantage is when sometimes you invest in an apartment in a big high-rise building which has good swimming pool, gyms, and a lot of other facilities, then they charge a lot more body corporate fees, which is a lot higher. Sometimes people pay $2,000 to $3,000 in body corporate fees in a year for an apartment in a high-rise building. And the next one is the challenge in getting the finance for an apartment, because most of the times banks don't like giving finance for an apartment, or they ask for at least 30 or 40% deposit. That restricts your ability to go for an apartment. So if you could hire body corporate fees or higher costs related with the apartment, that decreases your rental yield. So guys, there are pros and cons for both the options, whether you invest in a townhouse or apartment or you invest in a house, but you need to take into consideration all these positive and negatives of both the options before you make an informed decision for your next investment. If you consider my personal view, I would prefer to invest in a house as compared to investing in an apartment, because I have previously invested in one townhouse which hasn't given me a good capital growth. It's been more than 5 years now. It hasn't given me a good capital growth, and it hasn't given me a rental increase as well. Whereas my other investments, which are like mostly the houses, are giving me good capital growth and good rental increase as well every year. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and this video has given a good insight and knowledge about different options. And if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and like and share it with your friends who are going through the same confusion. And by you liking and hitting the subscribe button gives me motivation to keep on making these kind of videos and spreading the knowledge into the community. Enjoy your day, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you.